mediocre team and Big D. That's what makes this funny. How about the Cowboys? How about the Cowboys?
They go with Cunningham.
Come on! You gotta be...
The 20.
Wow.
Touchdown,
Wow, okay.
Detroit.
That's crazy.
Come
on, man. Surely because you love to compete, but this shit whack as fuck sometimes, cuz. Easy work, Zeke! Perry been shooting.
You are watching a master at work.
Welcome back to another episode, Headaches to 8-8 Over the Hump, episode number 5, the finale. But we're going to talk about the trenches, defense. We'll get straight into it. But I know last episode we went super in-depth with offense. We had numerous different issues that we talked about, different tips that we talked about. This one, Tim's defense is very good. It's not more so that we're trying to flip everything around or just completely change up things. We're just more fine-tuning. So you're going to see a lot more of hitting on the same points over and over again to show that it's been so consistent, because I probably watched every game this cycle. I know how he plays, but then for the show specifically, I know I went through every play of the last season and some of the season before, so we'll get into it a little bit. Make sure you go give us a follow on Twitter at MSR League or at MSR_network. Search us up on YouTube, MSR Space Network. Same thing for Spotify. Them NDP podcasts, y'all got to really check them out. They've been having some different stuff, some division talk, some ability talk. It's all leading up to this offseason. We in this last season, MSR 30. We're going to get right into this. Tim, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. It's the last episode, a little bittersweet. We're trying to get this out before season 30 gets too far into the way. But, so far in season 30, you look pretty good. Talk to me a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, look, I always like to get off to a good start. I mean, this is what I expect. I always expect to kind of get a W. I try to go 16-0 every season. We don't always that successful. But, first two games have been good. The change has been literally the defense. I've been getting the ball, forcing takeaways. Over 10 in the first two games, and that's been always been one of I think I said this on a previous episode. That's always been the recipe for me, is to for my defense to be to put their stamp on the game, because offensively I always feel like I can handle my own, but it's when the defense can hold you down, if your offense is struggling, it definitely makes the game that much less stressful. So I just look forward to having that a little more often. It's been good so far.
Yeah, you talk about the defense. That offense has been on fire. Carson Wentz doing this thing, not really throwing that many picks, but man, Zeke Elliott, player of the week 1, come in, had another big game week 2. It's just you just showing strides and just letting him be him, letting him be that feature back for you. He's having a little success in the pass game, but it's that run game, and he's just been breaking tackles. He's been doing a little bit of everything for you, and it's looked good. I'm glad you're doing good, but we're going to get straight into this, the breakdown. We're going to get to this defensive plays. I think we got like 10 clips for you. Like I said, we'll go a little bit more in-depth into certain areas instead of more widespread like usual. But let me get you this clips real quick. I do this every time. We'll get you these clips, and as soon as you can see them, let me know. We'll get right into this. Green Bay, 2nd and 10. I think this is week 17, MSR 29, if I'm right. If I'm
Week 16 or 17.
Yeah, something like that. So we'll focus a lot on this down here, what play they're coming out in, what sets they're coming out in, and how they're going to do it. So he comes out in a tray open offset. He's got 3 receivers. He's also got, you're going to come out in nickel. Let's see. Oh, camera went away. There we go. All right. So you come out in nickel normal. Immediately you baseline and you move into a cover 3. So like, I get the baseline because you've seen, as you can see, the play art for some. That's a real Madden thing. I don't know, but this guy should be matched up with the tight end. Instead, he matched up to Jordan Love. So you see it. So you baseline, and then now you're in a cover 3. So talk me a little bit into the play now. Now that you're into a cover 3. You know, he's got trips to the weak side. Just talk a little bit about that. I'm gonna try to get it to where I can see the play.
To avoid giving up too much of the sauce, and what I like to do when I see, kind of overloaded sides of the offense, trips, things like that, or twins, I like to always keep a person, whether it be a linebacker or a slot corner. I always like to keep someone that's in the vicinity of a hot read. So if you look here, an easy hot read would be, okay, I see a gap. That's probably some sort of a zone, cover 2, cover 3. Okay, quickly hit that, little bunny hole right there. I can kind of get maybe 10, 15, 20 yards. Before that user, if someone's not thinking I'm using that person, or if I'm on D-line, I've given them different looks throughout the game. They may not think I'm right there. So I always like to keep someone there. That way, if I'm using that area, which I usually am, especially with safeties and stuff like that, I like to keep that area look on that. So that's the main read. And then also I'm watching anything coming underneath with the backside drag, or these guys. A lot of guys in the league love that angle route.
Okay. So first thing is, against trips, if you baseline, look what it causes your alignment to do. And so first thing with it being a minute to go or 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, I probably just call a timeout. Once the play's messed up, I just want to reset, because the way this alignment is, everything's so open. He could just hike and throw right here, and it's at least 10 yards if he doesn't make this guy miss it. It's a touchdown if he wanted to. But that was the first thing. But then the second thing, the reason I really clipped this was because I watched you moved your D line to the right, from left to right. So in this tight end here, big formation for a trips is a bigger formation. The inside zone is the main thing you have to take away to start. So if you moved your D line to the right, then that messes up all the gaps. Now you're using this guy because you're forced to, because you can't just let this guy run free because you're in cover 3. So now, if he runs inside zone, you're just getting picked up by the guard every time. They're going to be onto the second level, and it's an easy 8 to 10 yard gain, no matter what, because now you're pretty much, this guy's out of the play. You're pretty much into a dime set with the way the alignment is, and so I will always, if I'm shifting the D line, it's always going to be to the opposite side of the running back, and then you can shade back. So what the shading does with the defensive line, it determines how they play. So if you shade back, they're gonna play the same way that you got this aligned anyway. But you got an extra guy over here, which forces him inside to you, and I probably played the other side of the gap instead of, so that way you could shoot it. But you're, like I said, you're kind of forced. You could always man up to the tight end and then that, but then you give up the RPO. It's a different look because you had the baseline.
It is.
If it's me, I probably play this I probably man him up to the tight end, probably man him up to the slot, and him up to the outside, and then I'm playing this guy, and I know if the angle route comes, it's me. If the drag comes, it's me. Anything going left, it's got to be me. And then I'm playing the run.
Okay. Well, this will be my response to that. So you did point out the time early in the part. So you see, it's like the first quarter. So I'm not really thinking about stopping a home run right now. Like I'm kind of like just showing like, okay, this is where I'm at. Let's see how he responds to it. I've said this on podcasts too. Like I like data entry. Like if I get beat by something early, it may annoy me, but like okay, I see that he sees that. If I show it to him again, I'm gonna try to catch him off guard. Now with the sliding the D line to the inside, I appreciate that because I do that in shade to back to where they should be, and then keep this guy here in case. Well, you can't see where I'm pointing, but Telfair.
Yeah,
I'm keeping him around in case for the run. So yeah. And if this was the fourth quarter, it probably wouldn't be as obvious of a terrible look right here. But in the first quarter, I just want to see how he responds to it, see what he gets to me. Because again, we creatures of habit. So sometimes folks will see something like, oh, I remember I did get 15, 16 yards. I'm gonna try to hit him with the same hot route, and they may not think to adjust that fast. So that's usually my anticipation here. So especially when I see cover 3, I want to see how they respond to it.
That's good. I don't mind that, man. It's definitely not how I play. I ain't giving up no home runs. I don't need no data entry. I don't need none of that shit. But let's watch the play. So there goes the shift. So now you see what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. I see.
And then off the break,
he's completely off.
Off the break. Off the break. Now look, the guard already pancaked you. You over here somewhere flying because you ain't. But if you were on this guy, he probably never gets there, and you're coming through this gap.
He cuts through.
But instead, it's like he missed a hole, but it ends up being like a 13, 14-yard run when you could have easily called timeout or tried to stop him. That's enough on that one. Let's move to the next one.
Okay.
Same game. It's probably the next drive. You go down and get 7. So you get a stop on that first drive. You go down and get 7. Now here you are again. He's coming out in a single back wing. So 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, very big set. And you're coming out in a dime 2-3-6. A NASCAR formation. So you have 2 down linemen. And you got everyone else standing up with a bunch of DBs because this is a safety too. So it's automatically a weak box. Anybody that's super locked in, they're going to immediately see this and say, okay, run, check, and they're going to take it for 15, 16 or more. Okay. That was like, I'm going to let it play through. But that was the big problem that I seen with your defense was the matching formations. He ended up passing it, so it ends up working out. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But the thing that I consistently seen was you either pay too much respect to the match, so you match up too much, or you just kind of pick your plays and don't really look at the other formations. So here you are coming out in these dollars, these dime sets against these heavy sets, and you're giving up 15 to 20 yards, whereas your problem on defense isn't third or fourth down. It's more first and second down because you're giving up free chain movement. It's just that you get gashed for 15, 16 yards on first down so often, and that's the real downfall to your defense, right? If you could switch that up a little bit, then it's going to make a whole world of difference because now you got people out there that's going to get the ball too. So you stop that first down, second down run, it's going to force people to play into your strengths, and then you're going to have so much success and not have these tight games like you've had all cycle.
Yeah, guys do catch me in positions where I'm quick, assuming that they're going to come back on and pass, and I'm sitting out there with 6 DBs when I shouldn't be. So I just, try to find a way to make an adjustment enough to not get beat. But it happens a lot. Like, yeah, especially with these, these edge guys standing up. Like I'll get caught, especially with these guards pulling. I get a lot of plays where guards get caught pulling on a smaller guy, and this is a whole second level big play drive, move or things like that. So, yeah, definitely good observation.
Yeah, see, my rule of thumb always is you can always like go down when it comes to matching personnel. You can always match down. So if it's a 3 receiver set, you could always, if you think run, go down to base, but you should never match up. Like you should never go above what they are. If they're in the 2 receiver set, other than nickel, because nickel normal is kind of different. Big nickel, that it's still got the 4 down linemen, but you should never be in dime against 2 receivers. If that makes sense, like you just give up too much in the run. Yeah. And like I said, this one we already seen it. This one he ended up passing it, so like it kind of works out. But if that's a run, it's just 15, 16 yards. Dub just didn't see it and check down. So last one from this game, though, I think it's the same drive. I think it's like 2 or 3 plays later, 1:37 to go. Doubles offset weak. You come out again in a 2-3-6. So this one's got 3 receivers, so it makes a little more sense, right? But the doubles offset weak, that's got all the RPOs. It's got the jet sweeps. it's a big running formation as far as shotgun formations go, and then it also has all the Texas angle plays. So you set up here. Now, if it's an inside zone, you've got one down lineman on this play. This guy's standing up. I don't know why this guy's standing up, but he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's supposed to be standing up, but regardless, you got one here, and you're using the opposite side. So if it's an inside zone, unless you just shoot the gap and make a tackle, which you could, I think you actually do. I don't think you make the tackle, but I think you shoot the gap here with this guy, you can have a chance. But there's just so much space here if he gets to the second level. Like, look, there's everyone on the line, but there's not really. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, maybe you see something different, and that's why you go down. Maybe you're just playing the pass and tired. But I don't know how you think, but that's what it looks like from my perspective.
Okay. Yeah, I do play a lot of rush sets or subsets. I say I do run a good amount of subsets. It's because I don't know. Some of it just because I'm what I'm used to, man. You're so used to seeing
habits, bro.
Playing base and then thinking it works, and then you try to keep an extra safety out there for these tight ends that sometimes chop you up, and if they're not chopping you up, then they run against it, and then you get caught with big guys on little guys. So you just got to find out that whatever works. You got to find that balance and just try to make the plays that you can that are there. That's another thing too. Like, you may not always pick the right play. You may not always be in the right positions, but when the plays are there for you to make them, you got to make them. I think there's a lot of that hasn't been there. Like, there's plays I'm even seeing now where if I even audible to a better place, maybe I'm not getting, hit for home run touchdowns by these big backs, because I can stop people. Look, I'm a top 3 defense all cycle. I can do it. It's not that. It's just situations sometimes where I put myself against the grain where I didn't need to. So, you see stuff like this. He's like, you could give up a huge play like that.
Yeah, because, the top guys are all just going to check down every time they see this. But this brings up the second big issue. I said there was 2 or 3 big issues I had with your defense from the games I watched, and this brings up the second one, is your safety play. So it's kind of like there's a lot of good things you do on the safety, but there's a lot of things that don't happen because you're on the safety. So, like, tell me, like, if you play the safety, so why do you play the safety? That's the thing. What are you trying to take away?
Yes. So in the safety, I'm usually trying to play what's underneath. What's underneath me. I play anything around the sticks, and then I'm also trying to keep an eye out on the boundaries, like things on the outside, over top. Stuff that will get past. Especially with the safeties, and cover 2 man, for example, they seem to split and will allow anything that's threatening it to just still get inside of them. I try to keep an eye out for that. Because safety play on the AI can be super tricky. So it's almost put some type of hex on me where sometimes I'm just clicking on the safety just by habit.
Yeah, there is a lot of that, but I think you play the safety to really stop the deep ball. I think that's why you play the safety. I don't think if you wanted to stop anything under the sticks, then you just play a linebacker and you do the same thing. But unless it's situation like crossers, but you playing the safety, what it does is it gives up so much underneath. Like, yeah, you definitely take away the deep ball. I've seen you make some crazy plays on some deep balls that probably should be touchdowns every time, but then you take them away because you're there. But that's 1 or 2 plays a game, whereas you're giving up 15 to 20 plays a game down here because you're 30 yards back. As you see, like Jordan Love starts this on the 48. You're sitting at the 30. So on a run, by the time that you come down to make a play, he's almost at the 35. It gives up so much underneath, and then the drags and everything else that you could take away with your linebacker, but you can't because you're just sitting back here, taking away the deep ball, which is good, but it's just on 80% of the plays, it's useless. You're just kind of a decoy almost. I played this play, I can't remember what it is. So it is a handoff, and look right. So like you dive, like okay, you made a bad play, but regardless, even if you got this tackle, he's at the 35. Like you never had a chance.
Yeah, I tried to take out the block. I was trying to take out that block. That's what I was doing.
I ain't never seen nobody do that, but it kind of works.
Yeah, I do that shit all the time. That's one thing too. I will take off a block even if it means I have to click on somebody else quick. I do that a lot, like because you can tell if I'm gonna lose the block or not. So I try to like clip him a little bit, and then I gotta clear away from someone else to come through. So look, if you see, I go right for his legs.
No,
like I wait in those times.
But
Because I see him beat. Like, he's not. That's a third-year safety. He's not ready for that.
Yeah. Do you see the difference though if you're playing a linebacker and you're coming through? Because
Facts. Yes. 100%.
Even if you don't make the play, let's say you take out this blocker with the linebacker, he's then gonna come through and clean this up around here instead of way back here, because you have to play the pass to start. So you're almost at the 25 by the time this play is actually going, and then you just have no chance really. But it's plays like that on first down that's killing your defense because you're giving up. So now we have Kylo, and I mean that's obviously been your biggest thorn throughout the whole cycle so far. I mean he's a great player, so it is what it is. But he seems to be the division mate that's really had the most success on you. He's a very good runner. He can take his shot plays. Single back trio. See what you come out in, and you come out in dollar. So like it's the same thing. I know like we talking about it a lot, but it's the same looks that you see all the time that gives up this. You want to match. You want this DB on the tight end, so you want to match these three. But what you're doing is with one down, you have 3 down linemen. You're giving up so much, especially to Mincy and Kylo, he's not gonna make bad reads in the run game. So like you're giving up so much, and then let's see, and then you play the slot because you want to take away that slot chase. I get that, but then look, like it's just it's a 7-8 yard gain on second down when you could have just played it now instead of a third and long, it's a third and short because you just played dollar. Dollar almost has to exit the playbook unless it's third and long or like very situational. Dollar's just so bad this year with DBs, but that's what I've been seeing over and over with your defense is just you just give up first and second downs basically to runs because you're playing the pass instead of the opposite, and then forcing them into a third down, then playing the pass. That's just what I've been seeing.
Okay.
So now, same game. Spread wide slot. See what you have here. You come out in nickel normal. So, cool. You matched. You got the tight end. I think the linebacker's on the tight end, so that's perfect. You got a wide, so very big gap here that you could shoot with the linebacker, but instead you play Simmons because you don't want to. You scared of the Mike free release or the Quez shot play.
I'm seeing 80. I know I got to keep my eye on him.
You don't want him getting deep, but watch how it affects your defense. So you switch to Davis, like it's cool, but now it's just he's just 15, 20, 30 yards now because you're playing the safety again, and you have no chance at ever making a play. Even if you like the linebacker play is so important to like you could shoot right here and make this play. But you're going to get picked up again by one of them. But because you're not on a linebacker. And people just keep catching you on linebacker or not on linebackers. And it's giving up so much that it's making your defense super hard to play. And that's another reason why you don't get, well, not counting this year. So like years past, you don't get a lot of turnovers. You give up a lot of yards even though you usually sure up in the red zone because you go heavy in the red zone, which is good. But that's why people move the ball on you so fluently, because it's first and second down that you're just giving up so much runs. And now we get into the red game. I know this game had to be one of those that really, really frustrated you early on. There was a lot of, I'm not going to say breaks that were given, but there was a lot of things that didn't go your way early in this game.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't recall exactly what
he went up like 21-0 quick off like a fumble and two inaccurate picks. And then you just pretty much had to claw back. But 21-7. This is the same game that we talked about. I think it was episode 3 that you had that slant to Lee wide open and Wentz threw it to the safety behind him on the goal line.
Yeah, more top. Yeah. We talked about that's right. We did talk about that. We did.
So Tripp's tight end against nickel normal. Tripp's tight end is one of the. It's got the play action crossers. It's got the curl flat, but it's one of the biggest run shotgun formations there is. He's got Swift.
Oh, I'm available. Definitely.
And so now you have to base the line again because once again your stuff is like messed up. So you move into a cover 3 buzz once again because you're scared of this. But it's like the same thing that we talked about in the first one where you could have called a timeout and just reset. But now here you are again against Trips. You're sitting on the safety. moving back to this, so you flip it. That moves the line a little bit better, but then you shift the line right again. Let's see how he plays it. Inside zone, he's gonna cut it back up the middle, and because you're on a safety, you get cleaned up, and you can't make a play because you're at the 50, and he's almost at the 30. So by the time you step back a little bit, boom, picked up, and it's an easy first down run. You see how it's like it's just a consistently game by game basis that this happens. You being on a safety, even though like the safety is so good for you, but it has to be situational rather than the vice versa that you playing a linebacker is kind of situational right now.
Well, I will say it is situational, but there is a lot that does work with that. I think I do. It is those are great examples of where like either I could have switched to something different or again you said call timeout. Most likely I'm just about the timeout. I'm not gonna call timeout unless I feel like I'm about to give up a touchdown. So or if I feel like I'm completely out, man. Like if I give up a few yards, okay, cool. But I get it in terms of that. I know how you see it from that perspective. Like, look, I got to get this play. I'm not gonna get this one up, or I don't even want to take a risk of giving up a first down or 20 yards. So that's an eye of the beholder. So I can understand that. But in terms of that particular one, that's the safety one. Like I said, man, it's a lot of times it's about habit. And if I see the coverage, I'm even seeing now like I'm not even the less you're on a safety, sometimes you don't even think about it, and then it's like there's so many other. Because I come from a place where I'll use all other parts of the field, but it's like when you've been locked into having to see one position literally get tacked on your team that you're not usually having to use. I haven't really used the safety like I had the last 2 cycles and like until now. So Madden 20 changed me. Like I said, Madden 20 changed me, man. Like it really put me.
We gotta change it back.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, like it's been there. And trust me, it's been there. It's just like damn, like I didn't realize how much I really used the safety. So I'm seeing some of this stuff like damn. Like I immediately went to that guy. Like I went to a play because I knew Trips left. He might be coming up the seam. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why, like I said, I went into this, like, when I start clipping, like I do everything else, to go and try to find, like, this issue, and then, like, I started just seeing the same shit over and over and over, and I was like, all right, we gotta do this episode kind of different. So now you're playing J-Rod, back-to-back champ. You know how he plays. Anytime he sees 3 down linemen, it's immediate run, no matter what. He's coming out in a single back wing stack. So see what you come out in. I want to say it's like big nickel. Oh, it's big nickel. So you come out in big nickel against a 2 tight end set. So whereas like it's not bad, and like there can be situations that you can use or that's one of the few that you can match up for. But if you don't play a linebacker, you almost have 0 chance of stopping the run, if it is a run. And with this alignment, I don't know why your defense just aligns so funky. Out of coming out of the play, but there's so many plays that your defense just like, why is he here? It's not nothing you did, but he shouldn't be. He should be back here. And I don't know why they align like that. So big nickel, you're on the end. I know we talked about it. Might have been offline. I don't even know if it was in the show, but I know that we talked about user and D line, and I'm really against it. Yeah. You like it, but it has to be a passing situation to have a lot of success. There's other times that there's spots that you could do it if you're expecting like a big play action play, something like that. But in the run, it's if you're using an outside guy, it's almost pointless using the D line because of how much you give up. And it just so happens to be that he runs straight down there. And you had a chance though. That's the thing, is like you had a chance in this play. You just kind of missed I don't know. You try to hit stick.
Oh yeah, I missed.
But like, if you imagine you being on this linebacker, and now you come or this linebacker, and you coming straight through the hole because he double teamed right here, so the gap is there for you.
I don't know why I hit stick so fast. I felt like it was a little quick.
Yeah, it definitely was.
I don't know if that was an accident or what. But
I don't think that was. But you still had a chance here. But if you're on that linebacker, you're 1,000% cleaning him up. And it's like situations like that, and then instead it turns into a 25, 28-yard run that could have been -2, and that's the type of plays that give momentum, especially against the top guys. You give the top guys a couple plays like that, and next thing you know, they start putting two together, and you're down 14. So like that's the big plays that, And so here, same game, gun, Y flex, you up 6 in the second. You got him to 0 in the second quarter, so I mean, you playing good. I don't remember how this game ended up, but gun, Y flex, it's a RPO, it's a 100% a run versus him. He's going to run on this play. You go nickel 3-3, no, so you go nickel 3-3-5, but you don't pick a play, so it sends you to nickel wide 9, which is probably better than 3-3-5. But with this, the way this is set up, if you pinch, you have a much better chance of coming through. But I think look at the man. Every play you have something wrong with with your, I don't know what happened, but instead you play you play the safety, and then you don't have a chance to make a play. It's not even that you messed up. You just never have a chance to make a play until it's a first down, and it's a 1st and 10. It's a guap drive. It's just playing that.
I mean, but you also sometimes you don't know too. Like sometimes first down, it looks like a run, could be a pass. Like first downs is more like you don't know. Like you can't assume that that's automatically a run too. So like, because even with the other one, like I got Josh Allen. I'm just trying to get, he got a lot of user ability. So for superstar, so I'm just trying to get a sack. I don't think he cracked 10 sacks last year. So I'm just trying to get a sack with him, and he ends up running. Yeah, but like you said, I had a chance to make the play, and even though that probably I could have picked to somebody else, like even still I could have made the play that was there. Sometimes I just didn't even do that, so it's like a double whammy on top of that,
I mean, you definitely never know if it's a run or a pass, but you can make up with a user linebacker. You can make up in the pass a lot more than you can make up in the run on a safety, because on a safety you have no chance, but on a linebacker you can play both. So like the probability,
100%.
It's definitely certain situations that safety is played. But so this is a Rhino game. I can't remember what week this. I think it was like mid-season. This game ended up going down to the wire. 2:22, about the same time as this last play. So it's end of the first half. He's on his own side of the field, 2nd and 3. He comes out in a bunch offset. There wasn't nothing really wrong with this play, but I picked it for a certain reason. So you see it's a zone blitz, and we talked about this I think in episode 2 about these zone blitzes versus bunch. Because do you play with auto flip on or off?
I play with it on.
On, yeah. So you would have to manually flip it, but if the if the blitz is on this side, then it has a chance, and you can make Mabel. You can do all the adjustments from this side, but with it being on this side, you put yourself at a risk because very few bunch plays are gonna be toward the short side like that. You just don't run. That's not how you should run bunch. So you man this guy up. And this guy's blitzing from back here, so it's just like it's not anything bad, but it's such a useless. He's just out of the play now instead of either manning up or flipping him over here, putting him in a this guy in a hard flat and him in a purple. So now you got the whole left side of the crossers. You don't have to use her. Instead, you can see he goes back. So you man up the tight end, and then you base a line, and it puts him back here blitzing from the 40, and Justin Fields is on the 22.
Yeah, I was trying to get that animation to see, because if you do that, then they kind of snap out of it and then come back down. But by that time, it was a little too late. So
yeah. And then you have to take this guy away. Oh well, the clip cuts short, and then you end up giving up the drag because you have nothing over here. But if it's flipped, that was the zone call. If it was flipped, this is completely bagged. Like he's gonna just have to run. He has no other choice. So I just clipped that to show the zone play on the bunch. You just have to know. You can't blitz the same size of the bunch. It just gives up way too much.
Yeah, I like to show different looks too. So like one thing, that one definitely, I don't even remember calling that play because I don't even like to call that one. I don't call safety blitzes too often like that anyway. So that's just I don't even know I call it that. But yeah, that blitzing. I wouldn't blitz a safety like that. Like I wouldn't blitz a safety and a corner from opposite side from where like literally his first read is this way. So. You need to have the blitz coming in his face so he can make the nigga look this way, and by that time it's too late. So you're 100% right on that. I don't know. I just like.
I think this is the last. It's the last, and that's the thing though. Is like, it seemed like some games like you're super locked in and like you're doing really well, but then you like I don't want to say take a quarter off, but like there's a quarter that you just kind of like go through the motions, and then by that time you get down a couple scores, then it's like all right, fourth quarter, got to go back. And then you lock back in and you come back, but it's always like, if it's a loss, it's a 3-5 point loss right there when you could have just locked in for that one quarter and been up the whole game.
Yeah, I be all over the place sometimes, man.
You just like playing games. I ain't here.
I love playing the game, bro. Like I said, I'll be in the moment. It's like you take I'll take the L that play. I'm gonna try to get him back real quick, and I completely forget. No, slow down. Let's get a couple first downs. Stuff that I tell people to do all the time, which is 100% true. I just don't even follow my own device. So yeah,
it's easy to do. Last clip, 2nd and 10, same game. You don't wait to see what he comes out in. So you come out in dollar right away, middle of third quarter tie game, and he's in a 2 tight end set.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is so now if he just runs, it's so open. And you just don't really have it. If it's an RPO, he's got it. He just has everything here. I can't remember what happens in this play. So you man up the slot, so that takes away the RPO, and you use but it's a run, and it's just 8-10 yards. It's just easy. It's way too easy. You just don't make people work. I think that's the biggest thing that I think is you don't make people work enough. You give up. You'll get these interceptions. You'll have these moments that your defense looks unstoppable. But then for 75% of the game, you give up a couple easy plays every single drive. So every first down, it's you just welcome them to run. Instead of if you just took the first down away, even if you played the safety 2nd and 3rd down instead of all 3 downs, you just say, okay, first down, I'm not getting ran on. Your defense is much, much better throughout the season, especially once we get into the playoffs. But that's it for the clips. We talked about the aggression a little bit. But the next thing I really want to talk into, I think it's really how I play defense, and I think you really play defense as well. It's just that kind of bend, don't break. I spoke on a little bit earlier how you go really heavy in the red zone, and it really pays off. And that to me is huge because you see a lot of people, they'll come out in this spread set on the 5-yard line, and then people will match to a dime or something, and they just get ran right up. But if you just go heavy, there's not all this space for people to run these crazy routes to beat you. So there's no reason you don't need DBs out there. You know what I'm saying? So going heavy in the red zone, I've seen you do it a lot, and I think you do it very well. That was a big thing that I seen too. But talk to me a little bit about you calling man. I know I run a lot of man. You run a lot of man. It's a very zone-heavy meta in our league. Talk to me the advantages you see of running man and how that affects you to be able to use other people with the way you built your team.
Yeah, so with man coverage, I look at it as probably it's such a free for me for defense. It's such a free because people look at man coverage as all right, you look somewhere, you look here, okay, if it ain't there, you look somewhere else, something's going to be open. Okay, cool. But people have to also get rid of the mindset that every play that you call on defense is going to work because that's not how it is. So once you get rid of that mindset, then you realize, okay, let's find freedom in the stuff that I could possibly get beat on. That way, when I do get beat on, I know how to adjust to it or find ways to, use her, which is, what we're talking about here. You got to be able to use her all parts of your defense. You have to be able to use your slot corner. You have to be able to use your outside corner left, outside corner right. You have to be able to use your corners if they're compressed. So if you're in a bunch set, you're playing man coverage. Okay, find out which one is your which one is your man. Because if one guy runs a drag and another guy runs a corner, you need to know which one is yours. You don't want to get caught in the mix, and then next thing you know, you're giving up a big play or a touchdown. So there's other ways, and in a way, I think it's just about being creative. I love to find ways to just, and honestly, I like a way to push myself. I'll do stuff sometimes I probably shouldn't, but all right, I probably gave up something on that drive, but I'm learning how to maybe play something a little bit differently outside my comfort zone because I like to find ways to get better. And one way was the safety because I was always so scared of playing in safety because, I've always been the one that could strafe. You strafe, and even back before strafing was really known as a big thing, I've always been strafing. So strafing and coverage is nothing to me, but I will always strafe to the last point. And by the time, saying if you even, I'm leaving. And I would strafe too long, and then people were gone over my head. I'm like, I don't let no big plays go over my head. What the hell is going on? So it was literally you strafe for a little bit, and then once you back in your area, that's your area. So you can run around as much in your zone. You in the deep third. Nothing's really going to go back there but a few times a game. So, it's about, you can do that in cover 2-man shell, you can do that in the zone. But in man coverage, I really feel like you said with the base coverage, You could literally be in 4-3 or 3-4 playing against three receivers, say single back dice slot formation, and you can play that that wheel linebacker that is right on the slot corner. And if you hesitate a little and see which way he's going to go on that route, if he's going to cut in, if he's going to go out or go straight, you could literally if you stand enough, you can almost look like you're in the zone. You can almost look like you're in his own coverage. You stand there, and whatever comes to you, then you follow it. You could kind of play that as you would a zone, but really you're in man coverage. But it's all about your perception and not looking as if you're trying to cheat a rule. No, you're just standing there waiting to see what the guy's going to do, but that's your man. So wherever he goes, okay, he's got to come to me. So once he comes to me, I'm following. You know what I mean? So I think I don't look for limitations in my gameplay. I don't look for things that's going to limit me, because that's not really what it's there for. You're going to have some fun, but okay, what can I do? Like, there's things I know I can't do. What can I do to try to take away my opponent's best, my best threat? Man coverage a lot of times gets looked at as, you won't get chopped up, or, this easy way to get beat. People talk all the time, like, people spamming man. How do you spam man coverage? Like, I don't understand how you can spam any coverage, but how do you spam man coverage? How do you spam something that's literally me on you, mano y mano, you my guy? I gotta get. You can't do nothing. I can't. If you score, that means it was my fault. You was, if I picked you off, it's because I was able to stop you from getting to the route or whatever. Like, it's me on you. You can't spam that. So, I just never understood the mindset of how people don't really like man coverage or feel like yeah, you can have your opinion, and I get that. I'm not disrespecting that, but to make it seem like it's a negative connotation to even want to call a lot of man coverage. Man, look, if I get beaten man coverage, so be it. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. He just happened to make the right call, or he got the play or the break, whatever. It's just how it worked. And I know I'm gonna get my share too, because I know how to manipulate it from time to time. I know how to make the play. I know how to click on. Sometimes your click on's gotta be right. Sometimes your instincts. You said that earlier. Your instincts have to be on point. You got to know, okay, that looks like an out route based on this formation. He may do a curl. He may do a post. And sometimes you're wrong, but you do it enough, you're gonna be right.
You're gonna get right. Hey, that's the thing with man. That's the biggest thing, because all the top people you see, they're users of the difference. But if you can take away that first read, then a lot of times you're gonna have success, especially in man. So once you get people checking to their second, third reads in man, and then a lot of times it's late, and the next thing you know, it's crib call. So I think man gives you so much freedom, but I know a lot of people, like, hell, we've seen some people break the 80% rule with just, with zone, with cover three. It's a very zone meta right now. But
yeah, I the meta thing is crazy with the zone, because you see it varied in different leagues, but one thing with our particular community is, like, you find different shells. Like, you'll see some cover. I'm not gonna shout the user out, but there's a user I've noticed over their last 3 seasons. Like, it's nothing. Before we even get further, there's nothing wrong with what they do. They play within the rules. They haven't broken the rule in this at all. They run a cover 6 shell. It's crazy to me to see someone run a primary cover 6 defense where it's not like cover 6, man, cover 6, cover. No, it's not like that. It's like cover 6. Look, okay, if I don't see that, okay, I'm gonna switch to cover 2. Okay, I'm gonna go to a man look, and I'm gonna keep my man looks. But then, third downs, I might go to my cover 6 shell or cover space. So it's very crafty. I make myself a bone to watch a few games every week. In our league, and to see this person continuously do this, and it's be crafty, and it challenges the other teams to adjust. And I don't even know if people like, I don't know if other people notice it, but it's just to kind of notice this time of defense. Like, you see cover 2 shells, Tampa 2, cover 3, cover 1. Like, see someone run a cover 6 shell, and also have a lot of man blitzes, a lot of cover 1, cover 2 man, cover 1 robbers. Like, okay, like, you could do some things with it, especially if you know what you're doing, though.
You can manipulate them to really be a lot different, to play a lot different than the stock play would.
Yeah.
But, so just to kind of wrap it up, the biggest things, like I said, we talked about the safety play, just moving down to the linebacker more in the early downs to stop that run. The matching personnel is really situational, but to an extent, you do it so much that it hurts you. And then the zone play calls, we hit on that a little bit, just the blitzes and stuff, and where the blitzes should be coming, or how you can manipulate those blitzes to be better zone calls and to cover more stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean that's really it for episode number 5. But talk to me a little bit. This is the finale, so talk to me a little bit about the show. We can just chat now. Now that the work is out of there, we're done with that. Let's just chat a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the show.
You know, to kind of just again remind folks how this all began. Definitely want to see that. Definitely go back to episode 1 and see how we kind of introduced this. But this was literally just something in 3, 4 in the morning, and I just had an idea. Usually, where I say to man, this is the best hours for folks who just can't get their minds at rest because you can get a lot of things done. And I just had an idea, man. I was like, I've made the playoffs. I've been, like I don't like to rank myself, but a lot of people always show me a lot of love in terms of, I'm a baller. You can really get yours. You don't play in some big games. You don't been in some leagues. You don't really show that you can play against the best. Da da da. But my thing is, in this particular league, right, which is the league I love the most, I haven't really seen that mountaintop. So I was like, what about instead of it just being like, headaches 8-8, someone's just trying to get themselves into the playoffs. How about we try to see somebody get over the hump and see if they can take that next step? Well, we know he could play. We know, but he's been showing some inconsistencies in ways that we're not used to seeing him. And especially in Madden 20, we felt it was just a game, but now this cycle's saying some of those same things. And the fact that I've been able to see that in myself was the biggest thing. So I wanted to bring that to someone whose eye that also I could trust enough to bring ideas like this to the table. And wonder if they would come to something where I don't mind being criticized. I've always said I take criticism in the best way, especially if it's constructive, especially if it's someone that really has my best interest at heart. And some of the things you said, about, you saw, like, man, we just look forward to playing. And I haven't really seen you always look your best. Seems like you check out sometimes. I can tell by some of the things you do. You checking out. You're all right. And I was like, sometimes it was making excuses, and other times it was like, yeah, you're right. It really is. I'm going through this and that, but I pick up the sticks, and I said it to everybody else. Once you pick up the sticks, like I try not to make excuses. Like I had enough in it to start the game up and send the invite. I should be able to have enough to, deal with it, no matter how the result is. So, and I stayed true to that, So, this was important for me, competitively at least, But on a creative sense, it was just like, I want to challenge myself. That was the main thing. I want to challenge myself, to be seen in a different light, to show myself, to now look at myself from the eye in the sky, to look at myself in a different perspective, and okay, see where you're actually messing up. Like, you could talk about a break not going your way, but let's see how you can actually create your own, or how you can limit yourself being in situations where now you're looking for a break. That's another thing people don't consider. Like, you shouldn't always be looking for a break. Sometimes you either create your own luck, or just do the right thing. Do the little things that can help you get a dub. We're not always going to be locked in all 16 games. We got life and a lot of things going on, but for the top users that whether it comes easy to them or they stay locked in for 16 games a season, that's it's a reason why they can do it, and they make the most of it when they can. So I pride myself on being one of those guys. I feel like I've always been one of the big dogs, whether it be in this league or any league. I've always been considered that, whether folks respect it or not. And I'm ready to show that again. I don't really talk too much, but I definitely can talk. And it's time to get some of that energy back. And I feel like the way to do that is you got to check yourself at the door. You got to be able to look at yourself and say, okay, I messed up there. I did that there. And for folks that can't, if you can't take me in check, then, it's kind of hard for you to be able to talk about others. And I try not to talk too much about others when I be able to talk about myself. And my gameplay needs to step up a little bit. And here we are. And I appreciate you being able to, kind of take the cover off some of the things and show put a light on, where hey man, you need to tighten up there. Or even in this episode, just saying, hey, that the defense, you leaving yourself basically naked in the middle of the field for the second and third level. And now it makes me, in the process, I'm thinking like, damn, I see how I gave Gibson maybe 200 yards in that one game, or I gave, Kylo 180, 190 in back-to-back games, or, giving up 140 to Dalvin Cook. I'm just thinking about these games now. It's like, man, some of these same mistakes I probably was making in those games. So it really makes you think, and it's kind of like, okay, now it makes you want to tune in and make and put the don't check out, or don't take everything so hard. Just like I say all the time, it's the next play. Get the next play and make sure you call the right thing. Make sure you're making the right checks. And I just appreciate it, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for taking the journey with me. Thank you for opening up the platform that you created with this Headaches 8 and 8, and really being fine tuned. And outside of just what we've done here on the gameplay set, I just want to thank you, Sidebar, for your patience. Last 2 weeks of just trying to get this all done has definitely been a chore with my schedule, and just trying to sometimes just lock in for literally at 45 minutes to an hour to get this done. But you have been beyond reasonable, and I definitely appreciate that. And it just goes to show that when it's really a job at hand, you want to get it done. There are certain sacrifices and certain adjustments we have to make whether we want to or not. And I'm glad this has worked out the way that it did.
Yeah, man. Like, life gets in the way a lot. It's a Madden League end of the day, so if we got content like this, I'm always wait around on it, whether it be my schedule, your schedule, however it was. We got it done. It took a little longer than we wanted to, but, at the end of the day, it's putting this product out there. We're not going to rush anything. We're not gonna put out anything subpar out from the best that we can put out. So, if we had to wait a little bit longer, then so be it. But no, about this show, like when I created this show, I just like helping people, and it was a show to kind of help these users because I know if I'm in their shoes, if I'm a top 5 pick every year, if I'm in the bottom 10, like I would be frustrated. Like I don't know if I could really keep playing. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was I don't know if I could really keep playing like that, but. With them, I can just see how it frustrates them. So I was like, okay, let me try to help them out, see if it improves them. And then I would have never, out of respect for you, because I respect you as a competitor, I would have never asked you for this show. Like, to me, it would have felt like disrespect if I would have said something like, come to you and been like, hey, I want you to be. So when you came to me, it kind of caught me off guard. But then what I got thinking about, I'm like, shit, man, like this really opens up the realm for other exclusive shows to branch it out to other stuff like that. And as we're going into 22, we can really start finding our lane in YouTube. Because since I've been here, we've been here since 19, and YouTube has kind of always been that thing where there's an idea here, there's an idea there, but we just never found our lane and really stuck to it. And we come from a league that's what we did, right? YouTube was the main thing. Yeah. So getting back kind of to my roots, it's been a good time. I really enjoying the show because I can tell you really did take some stuff, constructive criticism, but I can tell you were everybody's ego gets there, right? And I'm the same way. No question. And I could see it on a couple of them, and I was like, all right, but you never really came back the other way. And I'm not no perfect Madden player either, so I'm seeing stuff that I think, and we just kind of went back and forth, but just the rapport between us was really nice to have on a show. It took a lot of work. There's a lot of long nights. I got a clip at the end of this that y'all gonna like that I'll show you from a couple nights ago. But a lot of long nights went into this, and you for one, with how stretched you are throughout everyday life outside of the Madden thing, to be able to sit down and get 5 pretty much hour episodes in. I appreciate it as well, because man, that's the thing. I can do all this creative stuff, but if the other person ain't there, then it's saying it's all for none. So, I really enjoyed this show. That's gonna be it. Like I said, there's a little clip at the end you're gonna see. But for Headaches to 8 and 8 for the cycle of M21, we out of here, man. Boy been asleep for 5 minutes, right in the middle of it.